operating under what is a grand agenda, the grand agenda of Africa 2063. And if you read the grand agenda of 2063 and the 7 pillars, Africans are promising themselves many things, all of which ride on infrastructure. We are promising ourselves that we are going to improve the quality of the lives of our people, which demand that we have roads. But look at Africa today. The statistics were read to you here. Do we have roads that can stand the scrutiny of quality? Is it possible for one to move from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to Dakar in Senegal? Is it possible for one to have goods moving from Cape Town to Cairo in Egypt? Do we have such roads? Do we have railway systems that can convey goods from the port of Beira to Bangui in Central African Republic? Do we have them? Do we have systems that can help us in that regard? When we talk about the provision of infrastructure that deals with water, do we have infrastructure that can deal with that? Do we have infrastructure that can deal with solid and non-solid waste? Do we? The answer is we don't. And the little that we have, do we maintain them properly? And the little that we have, must we depend on others in order to maintain them? Or we can maintain them ourselves? These are the questions that I urge you to consider during this conference, because if we don't, the continent will be perennially dependent upon others.
PLO Lumumba is an ardent Pan-Africanist and a true son of Africa who never compromised on the ideal of African people's self-determination through visionary leadership. His full-blown critique of neo-colonial legacies and corrupt governance forms is the basis of his message in this call to decide upon leaders with integrity and service to the people, not politicians or those moved by personal ambition or foreign interest. In modern times, Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's dynamic young leader, epitomizes those ideals through his firm actions and dedication to the welfare of his nation. Traoré's rise to power has come at a time of great political turmoil and economic hardship in Burkina Faso. At only 34 years old, he has become the hope of many citizens of Burkina who are eager for change. Similar to Lumumba's dream, the leadership of Traoré is one based on the reclaiming of national sovereignty, finding African solutions to African problems, and uplifting the youth, the future of Africa. Probably one of the most important policies proposed by Traoré involves the management of resources. While Burkina Faso has many natural resources, specifically gold, these riches have belonged to foreign corporations for years and have only helped drive the local communities deeper into poverty. Traoré's administration has made concerted efforts to renegotiate contracts on mining to ensure that a fair share of the profits goes to Burkina Faso for the country's development. This economic sovereignty echoes Lumumba's call for Africa to control its own resources and use them to drive progress rather than perpetuate cycles of dependency. Traoré's leadership style also focuses on grassroots involvement, especially among the youth. One thing Lumumba used to say quite often was that young Africans should be empowered to become the vanguard of change on the continent. Traoré, being one of the youngest leaders in Africa, has grown close to the younger generation of Burkina Faso. His rise was fueled by broad-based support from youthful movements inspired by his vision of change, and he has ensured their significant involvement in governance since coming to office through the assurance of hearing their voices in the articulation of the nation's policies. Addressing security concerns is another area where Traoré has demonstrated innovative leadership. Faced with ongoing threats from extremist groups, he has rejected over-reliance on foreign military aid, opting instead to strengthen local defense initiatives and empower communities to take an active role in ensuring their safety. This focus on self-reliance aligns with Lumumba's belief that Africa's solutions must come from within, free from external interference that often undermines sovereignty. Traoré's regime also emphasized education and health, being one of the very important tools for national development. Indeed, Burkina Faso, under his rule, began to invest more in schools and health facilities to address those systemic inequalities that had hampered progress for a long period of time. This is in line with Lumumba's articulation of human capital as the foundation of independence, as Traoré tries to empower his people, the Burkinabe, with what they need to do for themselves in order to be sustainable. Moreover, Traoré has embraced Pan-African ideals, fostering stronger ties with neighboring countries and advocating for regional solidarity. His efforts to collaborate with other African nations on shared challenges, such as security and economic development, reflect Lumumba's dream of a united Africa that stands strong against external exploitation. By prioritizing collective strength, Traoré has positioned Burkina Faso as a key player in advancing African unity. The parallels between the vision of PLO Lumumba and the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré are striking. Both figures represent a break from the status quo, seeking a continent that takes its destiny into its hands through self-reliance, integrity, and a commitment to the people. Traoré's policies and actions offer a contemporary example of the translation of Lumumba's ideals into practice, creating tangible benefits for the Burkinabe people while inspiring broader change across Africa.